Okay, so first and foremost, what is ACI? Okay, it stands for Application-Centric Infrastructure. And as the buzzword goes, for everything nowadays, it's software-defined networking. So it's Cisco's main solution for SDN. Really what it is physically behind the scenes is going to be made up of three main components. So it's going to be the physical Nexus 9K switches. So we're going to have leaf switches and spine switches. It's going to be made up in a cross fabric topology. So similar to what we talked about in Fabric Path and in VXLAN, where we have the end host, like the servers, physically plugged into the leafs. So the leafs would be like our top of rack switches. And then the leaf switches are physically plugged into the spines. Spines being like our collapsed core, our aggregation layer. And then we have a new portion of the system that is specific to ACI, which is the APIC, or the Application Policy Infrastructure Controller, which is going to be, you could think of this kind of like an OpenFlow type controller, or just like a management interface for the overall system. So what is different to begin with, that when we look at ACI versus your regular Nexus switches, your regular standalone NXOS boxes, is that you don't manage the leafs and the spines separately. You manage them as one overall system, where the leafs and the spines are kind of like the backplane of the overall bigger switch. So you can think of now the entire network topology as just one logical device. And then the leaf switches are kind of like the line cards of a modular switch. The spine switches are like the fabric modules of the modular switch. And just like you would configure, let's say, a Catalyst 6509, you don't actually configure the fabric separately. It's just automatically happening behind the scenes that when you plug in line card 1 and line card 2, there's an automatic connection between them, and then they can do layer 2 switching between the fabric ports. So the same thing is going to be true here. We'll see with the ACI, that the system is designed to be very plug and play from the initial provisioning. But once the system is discovered and up and running, there's a lot of manual configuration that we need to do before we can accomplish what previously might seem like very simple tasks, like configuring an access VLAN or configuring an IP address on the interface, because just the hierarchy of the config is much, much different than what we're used to in traditional type systems.